bound edge as a feature, we're going to use 25mm bias binding, choose a colour, unfold and pin binding to lower edge of wrong side skirt, which is to mimic a hem, stitch in the unfolded crease, and then fold to the right side and top stitch in place. So you're going to take a piece of calico, and this is the 25mm 1 inch thick binding. It comes ready folded on the roll. You're going to place it along one edge of your sample. So what we're imagining is this is going to be the hem of something, and what we're going to do is stitch it to the wrong side. Let me just double check. Yes, unfold and pin binding to lower edge of WS, which is wrong side of skirt. So you want to unfold, and we're going to pin so you can see where I'm going to stitch. I'll just grab a pin. And you want to, you don't have to pin it, but you want to pin it in the ditch, if you like. You see in that crease there? So you might want to put a couple of pins just to hold it as you go. And we'll take them out. Now you'll notice I'm pinning them with the head towards me, so that when I'm sewing, I can easily slip them out as I'm sewing, as opposed to pinning the other way around where the head gets in the way and you have to take it out that way. So let's place it to the machine. And we're not so much looking at this time, we're looking at the stitching in the ditch. So I'm going to place it and stitch right in that crease. And back tack again. And you see I'm taking my pin out now. As I get towards my pin, I'm taking it out. And I'm going to keep sewing. And as I sew, I'm using my finger to unfold. Can you see the edge? The calico is the same colour as the machine. I've got white here and I've got a bit of calico. So I'm unrolling it so that I'm sewing in that ditch, if you like. And I'm getting close to my next pin. So I'm going to pull out this pin. And I'm going to sew all the way down. And then back tack at the bottom. Remember to turn the hand wheel just to bring your needle up to the very top, so you can take your work out easily and snip. As long as you've back tacked, you can snip it nice and close. Now this one is going to be a feature. So the idea is that you wrap it. So this is now this is the wrong side, and if I flip the whole thing over, what we're going to do is wrap it so that the binding comes on top of that stitching that you've done. So what it's doing is it's encasing these raw edges and forming a strip, if you like, along the bottom of your garment. So the trick is to try and, you want to cover up that row of stitching, which is quite obvious for me because it's a darker colour. And you want to top stitch carefully along the very edge, if you can, along here. So just a lot of good needle positioning required, and careful lining up and folding, wrapping your binding. So let's see if my machine starts. Yep, so back tack, and you'll see where I'm sewing. I hope you can see. I'm folding this on top just ever so slightly over that stitching, and then I'm trying to stitch as near as I can without falling off that edge. So I'm using a contrast thread on the binding so you can see it on the film, but if you were using the same thread, you might be less likely to see a wobble or two. And very important at the end, just cover that. When you get to the end, you want to back tack again. Lift your foot, take your needle to the highest position, take out your work, and have a little look at how you've done. So there we are, you can see I've stitched as close as I can along that edge, and that's not bad, I would say. But you might be able to get it neater. I've drifted a touch here, do you see? But I would say that's okay for what we're doing today. But that's going to be the result. So what happens is you see it on both sides, and on the reverse you always get a little bit of that stitch showing. but this is the right side. So if this was a garment, the end of a cuff, for example, gives you a really nice little extra dimension to your garment, or it might be the hem on a skirt or something, or it might just be something useful to create a placket, something like that. So that's binding as a feature because you're seeing it on both sides of the fabric that you're using it on.